Welcome to the Older Kids Podcast, where we revisit movies from our childhood and see if they still hold up. I am Elliott GB. As always, I'm me, but not as always. We're in a new studio. We're not at Third Wheel anymore. We're at the home studio, baby. I know it's been a while. I took some time off. I know I didn't say much, and I'm sorry for that. I should have explained to you because I missed you. Did you miss me? I hope you did. I hope this isn't getting weird, but I've been setting up the home studio. So we're here. We're at, this is now called Kiwi's Kingdom. And Kiwi is the little dog that I live with, among other roommates. It's not just me and a little dog, but that wouldn't be that bad. Okay, we're getting off track here. But we are here at the home studio, and today we have a very great guest. I'm so happy to have him on. If you know him, you love him. If you don't know him, you're going to love him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brent Flyberg.
Hi, Elliott. Hi, thank you so much. Real quick before we get started, Jerry, can you cut everything from before this? It went on a little long. I'm just talking. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, this is a little behind the curtain. Jerry is the editor. Elliott told me I had full license to edit whatever I want. I just have to tell Jerry what I want. And what I want is I don't want to hear about the home studio. That's just me as a listener. I don't want it, so I'm going to ask Jerry to cut that out. But hey, it's so good to be here, Elliott. So nice to see you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Fun thing for the listeners. For some reason, technology is being typical technology, and Brent can't hear the drops.
No, I cannot.
So he did not hear the Azugas, hence why he was talking through most of it.
I was warned, and yet there I was doing it anyway. So, Jerry, if we could go back and cut that so that I start talking as soon as the Azugas are over. And in fact, here, real quick, we'll get a couple clean Azugas from me. Azuga. So go ahead and feel free to mix that up, Jerry.
Cut those into...
Yeah.
Okay. Just make it seem
there's going to be a lot of editing. There's going to be a lot of editing in this one. I'll make sure of it.
Jerry's got his work cut out for him this week. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know exactly where in the edits we are, but glad to have you here.
Happy to be here. Happy to see your home studio. Nobody can see it. Well, maybe you're watching a video, but eventually at some point. But he's got a good background. He's got lights. He's got a plant. It's good. It's good. I, meanwhile, was embarrassed by my backdrop. I went and unmounted I had a longboard mounted on my wall. I took it down. I don't need that on the internet. I don't need the internet seeing my longboard and thinking that this guy longboards, when really I can freaking ollie on a shortboard, and I do it all the time.
No, I thought you were going to say you could ollie on a longboard.
Oh, that would be king shit.
I don't need the internet to know that I longboard and that I can ollie on a longboard. You know, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I learned how to do a tray flip on a 47-inch board, but nobody needs to know about that.
Well, speaking of tray flips, let's talk about the movie we're here to talk about. It is 1995's Chris Farley and David Spade classic, Tommy Boy.
Holy shnikes.
Is that for me?
No, son, that's for me.
You know, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
There's always has been, always will be, a family firm. Oh, son of a... Someday my son will run it.
Luke, I am your father.
Aw, I've interrupted happy time.
That's my name. Yeah, that's your new office now. Whoa.
Do we really want to put the future of the company in Tommy's hands?
Promise me you'll look after Tommy Boy here till he gets his feet wet.
Sure, and thanks for choosing me. Hey, Tommy, this is not a vacation for me. I'm out here against my will, so the least you can do is pretend to work. Ugh, I can actually hear you getting fatter. All right, it's sale time, so remember, we don't take...
No for an answer.
No,
Okie dokie.
I'm gonna pass.
Gotcha, thanks. Oh, son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Okay, let's check you out. All right.
It's a clip, huh?
Hi, are you sure?
Can't breathe.
It's He's a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks?
No, son of a... What'd you do? I'm a maniac on the floor.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
Why?
Wow, what a trailer we just watched.
What
huh?
a trailer. If anyone were to ask me about watching Tommy Boy, I would say you should watch the movie. Don't watch the trailer first because it's going to take the punch out of some of these jokes. They packed a lot into that trailer. A lot of the, some key funny moments
Key bits.
would be kind of stepped on.
Yeah, they really did. And also just kind of the way they divvied it up, where it was like college grad, blah, blah, blah. They made it seem like it was a lot more serious and formatted, I guess.
It's weird because this movie is definitely like, Peter Segal or whatever the guy's name was. He was definitely like, no, I'm making a film. This is a film. And so there is a long bagpipe song accompanied sad scene. And I feel like, yes, the trailer is definitely selling you, not a comedy. Well, I mean, obviously a comedy, but yes, the very beginning is very like, in a world, there's a guy and he's fat and stupid. And then it's just a bunch of gags.
Yeah. I watched like a behind the scenes thing about the movie, and the director was very much, he took credit for the, oh no, I don't know if it was him, but it was someone took credit. It was either him or like the assistant director or I don't know, someone took credit for the fat guy in a little coat thing, saying they were just like, yeah, we saw Chris and David doing that. Dave or Chris would do that just to kind of mess with David, and it is kind of a thing. And so I was like, we need to put that in there. So I kind of found that and put that in there. And it's like, dude, they've been doing that on SNL for years to each other behind the scenes just to like fuck with them. Because I guess Farley would do that. He would just like because they wrote together, they had the same office, so he would like act like he had an idea. And like when Spade would
fat
go
guy
to
in
like
a little coat.
Listen to it, yeah, he would always be fat guy in a little coat. He'd just be like, God damn it, like stop doing that. And then they would just do it on set, and the dude is like, I think that's funny. We should put that in the movie.
just wrote this. I wrote this and I put it in the movie, so I am the guy responsible for this.
Yeah. And the director had that was like his thing in the movie. You could tell he was, like you said, trying to make thought he was making. So he's like, yeah, just a lot of the things, we're just their kind of back and forth were things that they really did in real life. So we just kind of worked that into the film. We said we could just use this. And it's like, yeah, bro, it's fucking Chris Farley. Like,
yeah. You have a secret weapon. It does seem like a significant portion of the script just says like, and then Chris does something funny here. And then they just like leave 2 pages blank and they're like, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. That's, you can fill 2 minutes, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
And he's like, of course.
Yeah. Well, why'd you want to do this movie? What is your connection to it?
This was, I think at a certain point in my life, this was for sure the movie I had seen the most times. I remember when it came out. We got it on VHS. My Aunt Lisa got me a copy on VHS for like Christmas or something. Shout out to Aunt Lisa.
Shout out.
And I think it was just one of the movies that we had on VHS, and I would put it on. And it was also on TV all the time. And I think it just hit at the perfect age for me because I was probably like 8 or 9 when it came out. And I was like, I had seen some of the Saturday Night Live stuff, but not enough of it to be sick of them in any way. And it's a very quotable movie. And where I grew up, if you couldn't quote a significant portion of Tommy Boy on the playground at Briar Terrace Middle School, you weren't shit. So it's just been a movie that is at this point embedded so deep into my brain that I was worried to rewatch it to learn that it actually sucks. But I'm happy to report it does not suck.
Okay. All right. It doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck. What was your experience with it before this?
Well, I actually had not seen it growing up. I don't know how. I didn't see it until I was probably 19, I think.
Okay.
And I worked in a kitchen where people would quote it all the time because, I mean, growing up in the Midwest in Wisconsin, Chris Farley from Wisconsin, from Madison, you know, Farley was kind of the god. And if you like comedy in the Midwest, you like Chris Farley. And so I worked in a kitchen where people would quote it all the time. And I was just kind of like,
it's a very Midwest movie too.
Well, that's kind of one of my beefs with it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
yeah, you have the inside dirt. I don't know what it's actually like there. And I do feel dumb because I was like taking notes and I was like, you could tell this is really filmed in the Midwest. And then I looked it up and it's not. So
and that's my beef.
Know?
That's my beef. But watching it, yeah, I was like, oh, this is, you know, it's not something you see all the time. Is a movie about the Midwest where, you know, it's kind of like we got to save our town, which you kind of do. You know? Right. It's not unheard of.
We've seen, there's nothing really new here.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, but it's, you know, in like a genuine, honest way, you know, it shows how it's this town that he grew up in. It's his father's factory, but it's, you know, they're not like out of touch rich people. It's literally all the people in the factory he grew up with, especially when he's doing, you know, the speech at the end.
Ever since I was a kid, you people have been like a family to me. Louis, we built our first fort together. And Danny, remember when we used to burn ants with a magnifying glass? RT, I lost my virginity to your daughter, for crying out loud. Rob, you were there. Anyway.
But yeah, just showing kind of that aspect of it, of this is the town of industry that kind of everyone stays in and doesn't leave, but is like happy. You know, they're happy with it and they're not.
Yeah, they love everyone. I think the movie does a good job of like you're saying, like setting up where he's walking through the factory and everyone is like, hey, what's up? And everyone's smiling and like high-fiving and they're like, we love our jobs. This shit rules.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and they're not like portrayed as like dumb or like hillbilly, you know, or whatever. It's just like, yeah, that's what they do and it's cool and he's got to save this town. And yeah, and plus it's just funny. It's just a funny movie. So when I saw it, I was like, man, this is actually like a pretty good movie. And then since I first saw it, I've watched it like a million times just because it is just, it's one of those movies that you can just throw on, you know, especially.
You don't need to watch the whole thing. Like if it's on TBS and you turn it on and it's like, he's about to light the freaking car on fire. I'll watch this again, you know? And then you go on with your day. It's great.
If you're sitting there and you're like, I wonder what's going on TBS right now. You flip to it and you go, oh, Tommy Boy. Otherwise, if it was something else, you'd be like, let me check TNT. And then you switch to that. And it's cool to see Midwest representation. And see some Wisconsin towns in there. Chippewa Falls, Oshkosh sells 1,000 units to Oshkosh, which I was thinking about this in the shower today. I was like, 1,000 doesn't seem like that much.
No, it really doesn't. It doesn't, especially considering they need 500,000 to
but then
make it count.
But here's what I was thinking of though. I was like, 1,000 doesn't seem like that much. And Oshkosh it's not a small town. It's got a couple of people in it. But I mean, it's not huge, but it's got whatever. But I'm like, okay, so I'm assuming there's more than 1,000 cars in Oshkosh.
In all of Oshkosh, yeah.
In all of Oshkosh. And then when it was like 1,000 units, I'm like, well, maybe a unit is like a pallet.
A pallet? Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Okay. So then that would make more sense too with 500,000 units. It's like in the whole country, you just have to sell 500,000 brake pads. Like I don't. And especially since you're selling to like suppliers or stores, it's like, of course they're going to buy in bulk. They're not going to pick up like 5.
Yeah. You know that I'm thinking about it. 500,000, especially if a car needs at least 2 brake pads. So you're talking about like 250,000 cars.
Dude,
max.
Yeah. I didn't even think about how many per car. It's like a car in total needs 4, I think.
Depends if they have rear drum brakes and they only need 2.
Okay. Well.
And at this point, that's probably what they all had. I'm the car guy now,
Okay,
and
all right.
disc brakes are relatively new. Any car before the 80s is definitely going to have drum brakes all around. And then into the 90s, the front would have disc and the rear would have drum. And drums don't need pads. So, I'll tinker with your car after the show. But what is Sandusky a real place?
Sandusky, Ohio? I'm like pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was also like aged a little poorly. Ooh, Sandusky. We don't want that name no more.
Oh, dang. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Oh, man. That poor town. They'd have to rebrand.
Yeah, they got to read. They're like, they sit them down. They're like, look, either you change your name or we do. And at this point, your name's been in a lot of papers. So I don't think they're going to reprint them.
And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll just name our town CK. Weinsteinville. And then
Weinstein, Ohio.
Yeah, Weinstein, Ohio.
A couple of years later, they're like, you got to be fucking shitting me.
Oh, come on.
We just spent so much money on that new sign. Oh, God.
And then they name it Hammer, Ohio, and then Army Hammer is maybe eating people, and they're like, I don't know, do we need to change? We've changed it so many times. He's not. There's no one underage involved. I guess we go with it. I don't know.
Yeah, they have like a chart in the back. They're like, all right, does this hit the name change criteria? No minors were involved. It's a plus.
Pretty good.
It's a plus. Seemed consensual. I don't know.
Power dynamics aside, yes, it seems everyone's okay with what's happening, but who knows?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was cool seeing the Midwest and all those names and stuff. And Marquette University, Chris Farley actually went there, graduated.
Okay.
So that was cool. You know, he's actually.
Is that in
working
Wisconsin?
That is, yeah, in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, all right.
He was on the rugby team. So in the movie, when they show him with the Marquette rugby jacket.
He fucking earned that. That's what you're saying?
He went method. He went method for that part of the movie.
So method. That's something that my roommate and I were talking about at the beginning of the movie. I forgot. Part of what was so great about him was he does not look like he will be agile, but he is very agile, and he does a sick cartwheel, and he's like running. He's running, and he looks like he knows how to move his body. It's really impressive. Yeah,
he was definitely very physical, but just like, no, I mean, he had his classic "let me fall on a table." Which was his go-to, but also he's just very light and nimble and can just
nimble. That's a good way of putting it. He's really nimble on his feet.
Yeah. So I mean, getting into highs and lows real quick. I mean, we already not real quick, but we touched on it a little bit. You know, it's this Midwest movie, filmed in fucking Canada, baby. Are you kidding me?
Did it look like the Midwest to you? Or was it very
like
obvious? Okay.
It really looked. I was fooled. And look, if you gotta pull my Midwest, my cow card.
Yeah, dude, you are not welcome in Oshkosh after admitting that you were fooled by Toronto. Fuck you, dude. Why don't you go have a freaking donut at a Tim Hortons and never come back? They must have filmed some of it in Chicago, right? Some of those exterior shots, aren't those like Chicago buildings?
Yeah, those were Chicago. Yeah, so I think they filmed a little bit in Chicago, Ohio, and then a large majority of it was Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like just outside of Toronto, all that like just sort of open space driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, you know, that's, you want to talk about jobs in this country and outsourcing. Let's start there, okay?
Yeah, let's start with the 1995 movie Tommy Boy.
As far as I'm concerned, that was D-Day. That's when it all went down, okay? That's when they really started. You're making a movie about the Midwest, and you can't even film it in the mid-fucking-West?
Are you aware of any movies that are filmed? Well, I guess Chicago is the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movies in Chicago, but yeah, I don't know. I was wondering if there were any famous like Wisconsin movies, like Breaking Away is Bloomington. Are there? Have you seen that Breaking Away?
No.
Oh,
What is that?
It's freaking good. It's a movie about like townies in a college town. Yeah, it rules, and it's like very much like filmed in Bloomington, Indiana, or whatever, and
Every goddamn second.
yeah, which is just so it just seems so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if there are just more of those movies that I'm just not aware of that were filmed in like Taos, New Mexico, or Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Well, there's Escanaba into Moonlight, which is Jeff Daniels' movie about deer hunting in the UP.
Okay.
In Escanaba. There is also Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, which is filmed at the University of Wisconsin in Madison.
Oh,
Shout out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some others out there.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah, we got representation, but it's not false flagging like this one is, and it's just fucked up. And I'll say it. I'll go there. But it was crazy. It's like they did film, I think, in Sandusky like a little bit, but then the rest is in Canada. In that behind the scenes thing, they talked about.
Where did you find? What was this behind the scenes thing? Did it come from the original?
Don't worry
DVD?
about it, baby. No, it was. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Because the
I'll post it.
Wikipedia page has almost no information about the movie. I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, the cow tipping scene was filmed in Canada. They said they filmed it at night. It was very cold.
It looks cold. That looks miserable when they're spraying Tommy down with the water and there's like you can see his breath and they're spraying him with a hose in the face. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh man, that's cold. I'm a maniac on the floor, and I'm dancing like I've never danced before.
They said in the thing that was also something where they're like, we need something with him and Rob Lowe at the gas station. What do you think they could do? And the other guy was like, well, I've seen Chris do some funny dances, so I just kind of figured we could do something with that. And it's I'd say that's a low too. It's just the snobbery of these directors being like, I feel like I kind of discovered the young man, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's not it.
I really drew this performance out of him, and it's like, no, it's from the sounds of it. I can't even believe he's admitting this. It sounds so lazy. Like, they just constantly kept coming to scenes where they were like, there's nothing funny here. So, Chris, do that funny thing you already do all the time. Put it in the movie, would you?
Yeah, that's the thing where they're like, we've seen him dance before, so we, it's pretty funny. So we had him do that, and just naturally, he's very funny. It's like, but also
Rob Lowe was like, I'm not doing any. I'm not adding anything. I'm just gonna scowl and be the most handsome man you've ever seen. That's what I'm here for, and I will do no more work.
For real, I was wondering if that was peak drugs Rob Lowe. I didn't really Google that because I feel like it's weird to look up when someone was at their worst. But
dear YouTube, when did Rob Lowe hit rock bottom?
But
yeah, that's a good question. I wonder if he was drug Rob Lowe. He's definitely, he's doing hair plugs or something because his hair is thicker now than it was in this movie. And his hair in this movie, pretty fucking thick. So
whoa.
He's definitely calling you out, Rob Lowe. I know you're doing, I fucking know you got plugs, you son of a bitch.
Whoa, listeners, you heard it here first. First shot fired. In the
Rob Lowe, and it's the worst thing you've ever done, and that's all there is to it. I can excuse. No, I'm not going to excuse his sex tape with a child or whatever. But the freaking hair plug. Oh, have you not? See, this is how handsome Rob Lowe is that this does not stick to him. But in the '80s, someone put out a tape. It's like it's a tape of him having sex with. I think she's like 17 and he's 25. So he's having sex with a minor, and this sex tape leaked, and people saw it, and he just, still works. He's so handsome that people just kind of forget.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, right?
I've heard about how he was, had a drug problem and all that, but I thought, that's insane. Well, that's terrible for the town of Rob Lowe, Kentucky. I wonder if they changed their name.
Yeah, they made the decision in like 1984. They were like, I think nobody's gonna really talk about it ever for years. Like we all know about it. We're just never gonna talk. I guess nobody will talk about it. So let's just leave it.
They're like, this is gonna blow over, and also, not a lot of people come here. So,
Rob, low numbers around here. Am I right, guys? Jerry, could you edit that out? I'm actually kind of embarrassed about that. Jerry, if you could go back a couple seconds. I made a joke about low numbers. Get it out of the podcast.
Jerry, if you could edit that out and then edit it back in more times, I think if we do it about 5 in a row, then it'll really hit. So
okay, yeah. I support, rule of threes. We'll just do it again. Rob, low numbers around here. Am I right, guys? Rob, low numbers around here. Am I right, guys?
Rob, low numbers around here. Am I right, guys?
Okay, I got highs. My high, before we get too far, opening sequence. Love this opening sequence where you see young Tommy. Oh, shnikes. He's late for the bus. It's like this first 10 minutes is like, from what I understand, musicals, musicals will start with a musical number that incorporates all of the themes that you will hear in later songs. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what this opening montage does, where you see Chris Farley, there's like a fat joke. He runs into something and says, that's going to leave a mark. He says, shut up, Richard. There's a holy shnikey. Like you just get all of it in like 3 minutes. And then it just, for the rest of the movie, it just hits those beats over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good, like effective opening scene where you see him as a child and then you see him, graduating college. And I love the puff of smoke. He's a child. There's a puff of smoke. He's an adult. I love it. Why not? Let's not waste time.
So you think that is that puff of smoke is kind of showing how drugs rocket you into adulthood, sort of?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the underlying themes that Peter Siegel, the artist, who's really the mastermind behind the whole movie, who based on what we learned from this YouTube behind the scenes, kind of the mastermind of the whole thing, taught these boys everything they know. He was really trying to send a message about drug use, and that's I mean, what do you think? What do you think killed Big Tom? I mean, the subtext is there. They're doing blow the whole wedding.
Wow. All right, let's wrap it up. That I have a lot to go think about. I have so much to go think about. That Peter Siegel, I like how Peter Siegel, the mastermind, he saw them on TV and he said, on that little show, that little Saturday night show, you're making jokes, but here, you're making art. Okay.
You're making art.
You're changing the world. Okay. Now fall
changing
on this
hearts,
table.
minds, and diapers, because they'll be pissing themselves. They're laughing so hard.
We got this thing planned with a deer that you won't even fucking believe. Okay. You think you know deer?
I think that. So was my experience. This is the first time I've seen it in a long time, and the scenes that I loved as a child have not aged really well. But a lot of the other stuff has aged better than I thought it would. And I think it's maybe just because I've seen those scenes so many times, but like the scene where he lights the car on fire and the scene where he pulls his hair up, those are still kind of funny, but like I've seen it so many times and it does feel so obvious that someone was like, just fucking let him go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So those parts haven't aged great, but like, I swear to God, dude, if Chris Farley had not died, he would have an Oscar. I think he would be an Oscar winner by now. I think he is magnetic for the entire movie. You can't look away from him. And he's got so many good line reads, like just little things that were funny to me then, but now like the way he says, "What'd you do?" after David Spade yanks the door off, just fucking gets me, dude.
What'd you do?
This is another thing. I guess it's not really behind the scenes. It was a documentary about Chris Farley. But in one of them, they said that Stan and Ollie movie, Farley was supposed to be in that. He was supposed to be John C. Reilly's character. And he was like really looking forward to it and doing like serious movies and getting into serious acting. So I mean, that's
Dang, dude.
yeah.
He would have been Shrek too, and he would have been an Oscar winner. He would have been maybe the most famous person in the whole world.
Yeah, he would have definitely would have taken over. Super sad to think about. So thanks for bringing it up, man.
You're welcome. I whatever. I was gonna say, hey Jerry, let's edit this out. I was gonna make a joke about doing a speedball. It seems rude right now. Seems rude
Jerry,
and sort of shoehorned in there. So it's just back up.
I want to edit that joke in, Jerry. So
okay, I'll do it clean. Do you want me to get one clean one?
No. I want Jerry to try to figure out what it is and record himself doing an impression of you.
Okay, even better.
Yeah,
he does a pretty good.
He's good at
that
stuff.
he does a pretty good one.
Yeah, he's good.
Hey, I'm Brent. Wow, that's good, Jerry. That's really good.
Whoa, Jerry. And we did say before.
Hey, I'm Brent. I am a loser and I need a haircut. Oh, now you're going too far, dude. That's too much, man. It's a good impression, but back off, all right? Because I'm very insecure.
I'm not having fun anymore, so let's chill, Jerry.
I'm not a good sport, okay? If I go to a Don Rickles show and they offer me front row seats, I'm saying no. My ego can't handle it. I don't want to get made fun of. I'm sorry.
That's funny. Just someone who's that open about it and like cheerful. They're just like, oh no, I get pissed very easily. I'm not a good sport. I'm not. I will lose. I will snap.
I just today was listening to a podcast and someone told a story about going to see a Don Rickles show and they will just. It was a person who, he was in line and they were like, hey, do you want to sit front row? You get free drinks, VIP treatment all night. He was like, yeah, of course. And he sat down and he like looked down the row and he looked down the other way and it was like a black guy, an Asian lady, and then him who's like a kind of a fat guy, and then like just down there's stereotypes all the way down the line, and he was like, ah, shit. And so now I was like, oh, if I ever, which is so dumb because he is dead, but I was like, if I ever,
they're doing holograms.
I guess the modern, I don't know, Anthony Jeselnik. If I go to an Anthony Jeselnik show, and they say, you sit up front, I'm going to be like, no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I said it. Anthony Jeselnik is the modern day Don Rickles.
So my cow card has been revoked. I think your just comedian card.
You know what? I wasn't using it anyway.
Take it, baby. It's been a coaster. It's been a coaster.
I've been an artist the whole time anyway, so.
Still got my artist card.
Still got that one.
I have to say a low for me in this movie was having to watch what was quite possibly the whitest rendition of a Ray Charles song.
Right now, tell me what I see. What did I say? Hit the haze and the hose. Hey!
That scene is also one of my lows. I didn't even make that connection. I didn't know that was a Ray Charles song. Go ahead and take my artist card now.
Buddy.
I did not know, but yes, awful to watch.
Having to watch that during Black History Month, I'm like, this.
I think I have to Venmo you $15 to make up for that. And the caption will be like, thank you for all you do for the struggle, and then a black fist emoji, and you'll have to be like, you don't get to use that.
That's another $15. You're like, fuck. Oh boy. I'm making some costly mistakes. Yeah.
But I'm happy to redistribute.
But of course, whatever I can
shaking them.
You know, I pay attention. There were brown people in the movie. Which for a lot of these older movies, that is one thing that you don't notice as a kid that you notice now. I'm like, there's some movies, Master of Disguise, we were talking about it before. No black people in the whole movie.
And that's like 2002, right?
Yeah, that's early 2000s.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No black people. I mean, there's him.
In that movie, he's like all around the world in that movie, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he doesn't run into one black person.
Just never where brown people are, somehow.
But Tommy and the gang are in the Midwest pretty white place, still managed to run into one or two people who are not white. Good. Yeah,
they were at the wedding, not really enjoying the song.
No. How could they? Beyond that racial element, there's also it bums me out because I was thinking, okay, the only reason this sort of works is because both of these people are very talented performers, and I imagined going to a wedding where a father-son rendition of that Ray Charles song is sung. And unless they are professional performers, that's going to be a fucking nightmare.
They're definitely big shoes to fill. That is it's not just an easy song to coast on either. It's not just like, we throw the chorus around a couple times. We got one verse. It's pretty simple. No. It's, there's some breakdowns. There's some call and response with the audience. And
yeah, you got to be on it with that song.
Yeah. But they had rehearsed it. Like clearly
this is not the first time. No.
Yeah. And I'm surprised like no one at the wedding was like, oh fuck again. Like they do this every time. There's like if there's more than 7 people in the room, they're doing this song.
He drives around with a karaoke machine in the back of his car.
Just
I think he had this wedding
people. He's looking for
just
groups
so
of
he
people.
could get a live band for once.
It's like first date. He's like, hey, 2 questions. What do you think about Ray Charles? And follow-up question, will you marry me? And do you have friends or family you can invite?
And where can I plug in this karaoke machine?
Third, let me know if you see an outlet because I got something that's really going to knock your socks off.
And I am all warmed up. Ow, wow, wow, ow. The music in general, I would say, is a low point in this movie. That scene and kind of any scene with the score. The score is so friggin' corny.
How so?
Well, I mean, the bagpipe dirge, I didn't need. It's like 2.5 minutes long of just like bagpipes and Chris Farley looking sad. He's doing a good job. He looks sad.
Yeah.
But this is just not what I remember from the movie, not what I signed up for this movie for. Yeah. I came here for the jokes. And that's a high for me though, is just joke density. I was so worried because it's been a while since I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I was worried that it was going to be like, have you ever gone back and watched any of those like 80s comedies with like Bill Murray and shit?
Yes.
The joke density is so low. What qualified as a comedy in the 70s, embarrassing. Until Airplane, I think. No one knew that like, well, I guess Airplane was before that, but whatever. All of those like Bill Murray movies especially are very much like, well, we got a charming lead. He'll kind of be funny or whatever. And it's like, well, write him a fucking joke. Why don't you?
Yeah. Even this movie, it wasn't like slow, but it felt a little long,
Yes,
but
it does.
But there still wasn't like any fat. Like I was thinking about it and I was like, there's nothing really I would cut out. There's maybe like some shit that I would condense, but like for the most part, it moved along and
yes,
like you
it's
said,
pretty efficient.
Yeah, and they set everything up in the beginning kind of and paid off, which is funny though about those bagpipes because it's like they're pretty predominant, but one, it's like the dad, they're out of nowhere because it's not like the dad is like, God, I fucking love bagpipes.
My Scottish heritage. Yeah, if he's wearing a kilt at his wedding, then show me some bagpipes. But
exactly. And it's not like a big Midwestern thing either. So it really was just...
No.
So the director
so it should have been like a Ray Charles song. That's all we know about Brian Dennehy is that he loves Ray Charles. They should have hired Ray Charles to sing at his funeral.
I'm surprised in that fucking behind the scenes thing, the director wasn't like, and that was my choice to put the bagpipes in there because I just feel that nothing quite conveys sadness like some screeching out of some recorders taped to a vacuum bag. So
And I had seen Chris looking sad. I had seen him just, on set looking sad from time to time. And I was thinking about the bagpipes, and I was thinking about Chris, and I thought, Chris, could you do that in the movie? Could you do that? Could you look sad in the movie?
Yeah, and they're like, and cue the pipes. Is that what they call them, pipes?
I would. Well, I think if I played them, I would try to do whatever I could to make them sound cooler. So yeah, I'd be like, I got the pipes in my trunk.
Try to learn.
Hey, if anybody dies, let me know, because I got the pipes in my trunk.
If you see somebody looking sad, let me know. I'll drive by. I'll play the pipes. Really tie it all together.
Drive by piping.
I'll tie it all together. What if do you think there's like contemporary bagpipe music where someone's like doing hit songs, like Taylor Swift songs on bagpipes?
Like, what are you saying? Like kids bop? Kids
yeah,
pipe?
but it's like Scottish kids bop. Shake it off. No, that wasn't good at all.
I can't. Oh, hold on. What's a hit song right now?
Bagpipes.
But yes, there are for sure bagpipe covers of Taylor Swift songs. Probably of Kanye songs. No one man should have all this power. Keep your love locked down. Your love locked down.
Ball so hard, motherfuckers want to find me. Right it. Holy fuck.
Hurry up with my damn croissant.
All right, what else? What else do we got for highs and lows?
Dude, just the highest. This is Chris Farley. Like that, he is the high. He's got 3 to 5. I would say 3 to 5 line reads in this movie that are all timers. The "What'd you do" is one of them. When his dad says that he proposed.
Tom, I've asked Beverly to be my wife.
Whoa, man!
What'd she say?
It's such a dumb, it's a superpower. He can take a dumb hack joke that you've heard and just make it fucking sing. When he says, "What'd she say?" You believe that he wants to know the answer.
Yeah, that he
to
genuinely is like, and.
So I think that's all I have written for highs. The lows, the wedding sequence in general, but especially the musical number. But the wedding sequence, there's all those jokes where like Chris Farley is doing interviews, and it's like one of the coworkers is like, "I want to fuck your wife," or whatever, in so many words, and it's like none of this really works.
Yeah.
But we see the scene where Big Tom, he makes a sale at his wedding, 8 whiskey showers deep. Still got it.
Fair enough, Doug. Of course, I could get a hell of a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking my head up a bull's ass, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it.
Bull's ass, that's great.
And you guarantee everything you sell.
I could guarantee you all day long, but we both know a guarantee is only as good as the man who writes it.
Sounds good, Tom. I'll send the contract next week.
Good man, good man.
Still the best, Tom.
8 whiskey sours and still sell the son of a bitch. Damn, I'm good.
It's the kind of scene that makes sense if you are a child. And then you grow up and this is where they plant the seed of like, oh, if I can get a good look at a T-bone if I shove my head up a cow's ass, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. Mm-hmm. And yes, that is the kind of thing that makes sense when you are either an idiot or a child. And you're like, yeah, that would work. That is a good sales line. And it's like, no, it's not. It's what do you, if I were in a real life meeting and someone said that to me, I would be like, are you going to open your eyes in this cow's ass? I don't think you could do that. I don't think you would get a good look by doing that. So your point, moo.
Did you say your point, moo?
I could have, but I did not. I said moot.
I was going to say, if you said your point, moo, after that.
Hey, Jerry, can we edit?
Comedian card back. You would have got your comedian card back, buddy.
Jerry, I'm going to do a couple clean takes, and it's a moo point. I'm going to take that over one more time. Moo
Jerry, don't
point.
do it. Yeah. Don't do it, Jerry. Don't do it.
Feel free to add that in to sweeten
He said
it up.
what he said. He said what he said. Let him lie in it. Okay. I will actually counter argument that that is something that someone would say in the Midwest. I will agree with you that inviting someone to your wedding with the sole purpose of still trying to sell things to them on your wedding day is a little weird. It's a little over the top. But yeah, they definitely did set it up perfectly in the movie in the beginning with that saying, and then you see Tommy, stumble over it throughout the whole movie, and then it's kind of like that's like his journey. You see at the end, once he finally nails it, boom, he's like, oh,
Jerry, we want to go back and edit that. I think Elliott choked on a ghost.
No, I said boom. Moo would not make sense in that situation, Jerry, and you know that, so don't you dare put it in. But it's like once he does get the saying, then you're kind of like, okay, he has made it. He's filled his father's shoes. He's got the company on his back.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
Yeah, that's a good example. But they also, throughout the movie, I think the way that they sort of show his progress as a salesman, it just works for a movie. It just works where you see the montage of him doing sales calls that looks exactly like my experience doing sales, where someone says no, and then I'm like, all right, later.
Yeah. Well, you made up your mind. I don't want to be with you.
I went on a sales trip like that where I went to like 7 different businesses in the course of like 3 days, and they were all like no, and I was like, all right, well, take it easy. You got my number. But yeah, it's just seeing him like fail over and over and over again, and then yes, seeing him succeed in a low stakes situation where he's just trying to get chicken wings, and you see him be so charming. And then watching him like just sort of like connect that aspect of his life with the thing he's trying to do now, and it's just like, yeah, it freaking works. It's great. Yeah. It's great.
Also, just the way that they have it, where it's like he tries it so many times, the saying, and then but David Spade starts catching him each time, and it's like, just don't even. You're not, because, and I thought that was fucking funny too, because it's like every time he's like, I got it, and then he starts it, and you never realize right away that you're fucking it up, but he's just like, nope, you fucked it up, just stop. Just stop. He's like, oh really? Okay, all right, yeah, but yeah, his journey's good. It's all, I'm still saying someone in the Midwest, a real Midwest man, would definitely use that saying in all earnest.
And then fucking shake hands and like do the deal.
Yeah, and I don't think too many people would be like, really? Stick your head up a bull's ass? What would that look like? Tell me. No. Tell me exactly how that would work. You're going to open your eyes. You know how dark it is in there? There's no light getting in.
Excuse me, sir. Have you ever put your head up a cow's ass? Have you ever put your head up a cow's ass? If you did, you would know. It's very dark up there.
And the T-bone, that's not you'd have to go way up, buddy. You'd have to go waist deep, okay? And
that's
even
front
then,
leg. That's haunches. You're going to get up in the haunches.
And even then, you're still in the stomach. You're in
and which one, right? Because I know there's a few of them in there. What if you end up in the wrong stomach? You got no light. You're going to end up, you're going to take the wrong fork in his freaking long intestine and end up in the wrong stomach. You're just looking at tripe. That's what you're looking at.
Everyone's sitting there quiet, and you're just like, bet you feel pretty dumb right now, huh? You look like an idiot.
Yeah, I hope your town fucking collapses.
Sandusky, is it? I got a feeling that name's not going to last very long. Because he's in on it. He knows about what's going on. He didn't say anything. So this is a very despicable character we just invented here. Okay. What?
Wait, I had one more low. I would say I think I'm fine with fat jokes, but just the volume of fat jokes in this movie, I think it lends to that feeling of laziness, because like there are a lot of times when someone just kind of calls him fat, and it's like It's not really a joke, you know?
Yes.
And that I think that I was aware of it when I was young. I think I'm more sensitive to that now as an adult.
It is a different time.
The year of 2021. And especially that's also, it does sort of bum me out knowing that, like, Chris Farley was actually pretty insecure about that and maybe wasn't having a good time when some of these lines were being said. Does add another element of it that wasn't there when I first saw it. But yeah, now watching it through these eyes, it's like, just write a different joke in a few of those spots, and it's a better movie.
Also, Michelle, the character Michelle, aka Janine Garofalo Light.
You work here? It's so bizarre that you work here.
Come on in. Oh, and forget about RT. He's just pissed off because he recently found out what a loser he is.
What a loser here.
As soon as she came on and
that's
started
good.
talking, I was like, man, you probably got a lot of shit that she turned down.
Yeah, she's definitely, when someone was looking for a Garofalo type but not Garofalo, yeah, I bet she was getting work.
Yeah, especially like 95. I think she was like starting to take off. So it's like, we can't get her, so let's do the next best thing.
That's a part of the movie that is also held up was, as a kid, you're like, yeah, this is a lady, whatever. And now as an adult, I'm like, this lady is so hot. But like, it's never like, that's never really like a something that's presented by the movie. Like, she's just kind of like cool and normal. And she also is just like, oh, now as an adult,
yeah,
like, damn, that's a pretty lady.
That is actually a really interesting thing because it is kind of implied that she's like above his league, but she is just like nice. And that's another Midwest thing. She stayed in the hometown and she's just like, you're a nice, funny guy. I've known you probably my whole life. They did a really good job of, like you said at the beginning, throwing everything out, tying in at the end how her brother became a police officer.
Yep.
That's how they got the file. When they said that, I was like, ooh, fuck, they got everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
that's also
pretty,
a great scene. I love
realistic.
that line where he says, his line read on, we used to go to Safeway and get caught trying to steal donuts.
Hey, remember your brother Dwayne? Whatever happened to him? We used to go to Safeway all the time and get caught trying to steal donuts.
He's a cop. He had to get a real job when my parents moved to Cuyahoga Falls.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's realistic of her just staying in the hometown, working at the factory. She's hot and just
She's hot,
chill.
and she's totally willing to date a large man child.
No, also a little fun Easter egg on the printout of all the grades was Helen Keller and Michael Jackson.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Michael Jackson got a D-, I believe, and Helen Keller failed. So I feel like they could have,
Well, yeah, it's 95. I don't know if they're ADA compliant at that point. That's probably on them. That's not on her.
That's true.
And we all know she's smart. So
yeah, very smart, very smart. Let's rock into prequel, sequel, reboots here. What are you thinking? What do you got going on?
So glad you asked. I got an idea for a sequel. Okay. Tommy Boy 2. Here's the sequel. Okay, it starts with Kevin James. Kind of a similar opening scene as Tommy Boy, where Kevin James, he's missed. His family has left without him to go to Adam Sandler's wedding. And so it's him like chasing after the car. He's bonking his head on stuff. People are calling him fat, et cetera, et cetera. He gets to the wedding where, in private, Adam Sandler reveals to him that Chris Farley actually fathered children before he died. He impregnated a woman just like months before he died, and then that woman had octuplets. And this is 1996, so these women are like 25 now, and they've all had 4 to 6 of their own children. This is just a very fertile family. It's all twins and triplets and shit. So there's basically this tiny community that really depends on Adam Sandler because she talked to him afterwards. She knew they decided to keep it a secret for the kids' sake, but he's been supporting this family, and he reveals this to Kevin James. And then we meet Adam Sandler's wife. His new wife is, Jennifer Aniston, and she has a son who is played by a Rob Schneider, but we use the de-aging technology from The Irishman, so he looks like he's like 25. So they're kind of like the Bo Derek and the Rob Schneider. And then, yes, at the wedding, Chris Rock is there, David Spade is there, the whole like grown-ups crew, and Adam. Yeah, it's kind of a crossover of the grown-ups cinematic universe and Tommy Boy.
Once you said Kevin James, that's what I was like, hold on. Kevin James has filled in Chris Farley's shoes before, and it was in Grown Ups, and it is a very sad thing to realize, which I realized a few months ago and was like, damn.
So the whole Grown Ups crew's at the wedding. Adam, he's doing a toast. It's the perfect toast, and he's going to wrap it up by punctuating it with just like a huge fart into the microphone. But when he pushes too hard, he bursts a blood vessel in his brain, and he dies at his wedding. And then after the funeral, we learned that Adam overextended his production company, Happy Madison Productions, with his new fart noise division. But it's like a state-of-the-art fart noise division. It's the future of movies. But the company will go under unless they make a smash hit movie in like the next 6 months.
So this is all in the movie still?
Yeah, this is all in the movie. Yeah. So Adam Sandler plays himself. Kevin James plays himself. Chris Rock plays himself. David Spade plays himself. Jennifer Aniston does not, nor does Rob Schneider. It's a little confusing.
Okay.
But so they realize, and they're all like, Happy Madison's going to go out of business, I guess. And Kevin James is like, guys, we can't. I know about this family. We got to save this. We got to save this town in the Midwest that's full of Chris's descendants. And they're like, well, the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we make a smash hit movie and we make it like, you got to pitch to studios like today. You got to get going. And you're bad at pitching. So I don't know. What do you want to do? And he's like, but Chris is great at it. So then Chris Rock's like, no way, man, I'm not doing that. And then everyone's like, oh, well, I guess you have to. Smash cut. They're in Chris Rock's Tesla. They're driving from studio to studio, but it's LA. So they're in traffic so much that it sort of feels like a road trip. And Kevin is, that's the other thing is Kevin insists that there's no fat jokes in this one. But they're going to remake it with Chris Rock as the David Spade character and him as the Tommy Boy character. And so it's them driving from studio to studio, pitching the movie and getting rejected because Kevin James keeps trying to recreate these scenes that Chris Farley did from the movie, and he's just not selling it very well. And then at some point he organically gets stuck in a small coat, and everyone loves it, and they sell the movie. And then we find out that David Spade. That's right. Okay, hold on. I missed an important detail. Back at the meeting where he's like, we got to make a movie. We'll make a Tommy Boy remake, right, David? And David Spade's like, no way. It'll never work. And then he leaves. And then this is where we find out. They sell the movie, right? They sell their Tommy Boy sequel, but then they find out. Or no, it's a Tommy Boy remake. Sorry, it's a Tommy Boy remake. So in this Tommy Boy sequel, they're making a Tommy Boy remake. That's what it's about. Or they're pitching a Tommy Boy remake. And then they sell it, but then they find out freaking David Spade behind their backs sold his own Tommy Boy remake, but he cast women. I don't want to say he cast women in it instead of men. He's making like a what do you call it? Ghostbusters reboot, but with Tommy Boy.
Tommy Girl.
Oh my God, how did I not? I'm truly embarrassed that I didn't write that down. Yeah, he's making Tommy Girl. And then, something happens, and Kevin James makes the movie, and everybody loves it. And he saves the town. That's my sequel.
That definitely uses every breadcrumb in all of their cinematic universes. Yeah, you did it.
I did it. Thank you. Did you have a sequel prequel?
Yeah, mine was a reboot, but it's just a modern day one, and it's pretty much the same story, but instead of a brake pad company, he has to save the family's vape juice company.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maybe we could incorporate the two ideas. Maybe in mine, they're pitching a reboot of Tommy Boy starring Kevin James and Chris Rock, where he has to save his father's vape juice company.
Okay, yeah. But then all the other stuff is still the hundreds of offspring and and so this town there's just a town, a little village.
Yeah, Farley, Ohio.
Farley, Ohio. that has never had to change a name, and that's what it says on the sign. It says never have, never will. And then, but that's also kind of the cross that they have to bear, is they can't sully the Farley name.
Yeah, they gotta represent it honorably.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, one thing I didn't tell you beforehand, we do have to go write these movies now, but it sounds like you already did.
I pretty much did. Yeah.
So. I think
I'm just gonna copy and paste a lot of the scenes from Tommy Boy into this one.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I say it just sounds like all you really have left to do is just staple the pages together. But so that's cool. I do have a lot because all I said is reboot, save the family's vape juice company. So I think we got a few some storyboarding to do, some casting choices.
Yeah, you got some work ahead of you.
I got a couple treatments in there.
Jerry, can we edit in some more ideas for his reboot? Can we edit in some details? I'm
going to hold my mouth open. If you can just animate it like I'm talking and just throw ideas out, just make it look like I got some good ones. If you could, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Jerry Seinfeld. All right, but let's wrap it up here. Where can people find you? Who are you? If they like you.
You can find me on my twitter.com page. It's at Brent Flyberg, BrentFlyberg. You can find me on Instagram, Brent Flyberg _. Somebody fucking got Brent Flyberg, and I'm so mad about it because they're not even using it anymore. And who did that? Anyways, you can listen to my podcast. I don't make new episodes anymore, but I made 100 episodes, and if you start at like episode 55, it's pretty good. Nice. I wouldn't listen to any of them before that. It's called Charlie Kaufman's Entourage. I will not explain why it's called that. It's like eventually it's a sci-fi comedy serialized podcast. I had a lot of fun making it, and it's over now, and there's 45 good episodes. If I'm being really honest, it didn't pick up until episode 55. That's when it kind of becomes a sci-fi comedy thing. And then there's a couple weeks in there where I'm treading water. So there's I would say 25 to 30 good episodes.
What a sell.
Yeah. So just start with 55 and then kind of scan through the last 2 weeks. So episodes 90 through 100. Those are good. Those are good episodes. You're going to want to listen to those.
All right. Also, don't think we've had anyone pitch and plug quite like that. So truly an innovator.
You're welcome.
Truly an innovator of the form. On to me, as always, I'm Elliott. You can find me on all platforms at Grent Radish, GrentRadish. Also, make sure you're following the podcast wherever you're listening to this. Subscribe, follow if you're watching on YouTube. Smash that like button, elbow drop the notification bell, choke out, subscribe, so you know every time we drop a new episode.
Shove your whole body up the subscribe button's ass. Get a good look at it from the inside.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, drop a review. I haven't done this in so long. A rating, a review, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, anything below that. Just email me directly and we will talk about it like adults. Okay. Also check out Patreon. We got Patreon bonus. Okay. You get a free little bonus episode of B-roll behind the scenes, just fun stuff that didn't make the episode every episode. That's patreon.com/theolderkidspod.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of B-roll on this one. Sorry to interrupt. There's going to be so much B-roll that we added out of this one.
There's going to be, I'm looking at the time. We're at like an hour and 50 right now. So
yeah, and I said some out-of-pocket shit. So
Jerry's going to be active. Mm-hmm. But yeah, check out patreon.com/theolderkidspod. I believe that is it. I want to thank Brent for coming on again, being such a good guest. Tune in next time when we have another great guest and we talk about another great movie. Goodbye.
That guy in little gold.